Once you begin the journey of disciplining your mind, you start to see the difference between noise and truth. The world throws constant distractions your way: criticism, praise, pressure, comparison. But when your mind is disciplined, you don't flinch. You don't seek validation. You don't allow your worth to be dictated by external voices. You listen to the voice that matters most, your own. The reason so many people feel lost is because they are living someone else's life. Their minds are full of other people's opinions, fears, doubts, and definitions of success. They've never taken the time to filter those thoughts, to examine them, to ask, is this really mine? A disciplined mind doesn't absorb every thought that appears. It evaluates, it questions, it chooses. That's the power, that's the freedom. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts, and that subtle distinction changes everything. A thought of fear does not mean you are afraid. A thought of doubt does not mean you are weak. It's just a thought. But if you don't discipline your mind, those thoughts will control you. They'll dictate your choices. They'll write your story for you. And it will be a story of regret. Discipline means stepping back and watching the storm of your mind without being pulled into it. It means learning to pause before you speak, act, or decide. It means training yourself to respond with purpose rather than react with emotion. It's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, it takes practice, but it's worth everything, because in those quiet moments when you're alone with your goals, when no one's cheering you on, when progress feels invisible, that's when discipline reveals its true value. That's when you discover that your mind, when trained, becomes your greatest weapon. You can push further, you can stand taller, you can overcome setbacks, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. We often wait for inspiration to strike. We wait for motivation. We wait for the perfect mood, but the truth is, inspiration comes after action, not before it. Discipline is what gets you to act when you don't feel like it. It's what gets you out of bed, into the gym, back to the desk, onto the stage. Discipline says, I don't need to feel like it, I just need to do it. Your mind will always present you with two options, the easy way or the meaningful way. The easy way satisfies the moment. The meaningful way shapes your life. The easy way comforts the ego. The meaningful way builds character. The easy way runs from fear. The meaningful way faces it. When your mind is undisciplined, the easy way will always win. But when your mind is trained, you'll lean into what's hard, because you know that's where the growth lies. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems, and the most important system you have is the way you think. You can't set a goal to be focused and then feed your mind with distraction. You can't hope to be calm and then entertain every anxiety. You can't dream of greatness and then indulge in small, self-defeating thoughts. There has to be alignment. There has to be intention. There has to be discipline. Discipline your mind to reject the lies that keep you small. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far behind. Those are just stories written by fear, and fear only wins if you stop moving. Discipline teaches you to keep going, to keep showing up, to trust the process even when you can't see the result, to believe in the seeds you've planted before they sprout. And when that belief is tested, and it will be, you'll discover something incredible. You're stronger than you think, not because someone told you so, but because you proved it to yourself. In those hard days, those uncertain nights, those moments when quitting seemed easier, you stayed the course. That is discipline, that is power, that is freedom. The most successful people you admire. They don't have easier lives. They've simply learned how to manage their minds. They don't panic when things go wrong. They don't crumble under pressure. They don't give up after failure, because they've trained their minds to expect challenge, to welcome growth, to keep the long game in sight. Discipline doesn't make life less painful. It makes you less reactive. It doesn't eliminate emotion. It makes you aware of it, so it doesn't control you. It doesn't turn you into a machine. It allows you to be fully human, but with clarity and courage. It puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you the power to direct your focus, to protect your energy, to say no to what drains you and yes to what drives you. When you discipline your mind, you begin to live with purpose on purpose. You stop floating through your days. You stop making choices from fear. You start being the kind of person who honors your commitment, even when no one is watching. That's integrity. That's leadership. That's how you build a life that you're proud of. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. Start with one thought, one decision, one action, and then do it again. And again, that's how you build discipline, not in grand gestures, but in daily decisions, not in heroic moments, but in humble ones, not when it's convenient, but when it's hardest, and over time, something remarkable happens. The mind that once doubted begins to believe. The mind that once wandered becomes focused. The mind that once feared failure begins to seek challenge because it knows it can handle it, because you've trained it. Because you've earned it. The journey of disciplining your mind is not a one-time event. It is a commitment, a daily decision to take control of your life from the inside out. It requires awareness. It requires intention. And above all, it requires courage. The courage to face your own thoughts. The courage to challenge your assumptions. The courage to confront your fears not with denial, but with determination. You will be tempted to quit. You will have days when the world feels heavy and your will feels weak. But those are not the days that define your failure. Those are the days that define your strength, because discipline isn't about how you perform when everything is easy. It's about who you choose to be when everything is hard. A disciplined mind does not avoid hardship. It knows how to move through it. A disciplined mind doesn't chase applause. It finds fulfillment in silent progress. A disciplined mind doesn't break under pressure. It bends, it adapts, and it comes back sharper. This is the foundation of confidence, of resilience, of leadership. Not the absence of struggle, but the presence of mental strength. You have the power to become someone you respect, someone you trust. Someone you're proud of, not because of your achievements, but because of how you showed up. You showed up when you were tired. You showed up when no one noticed. You showed up when fear screamed and courage whispered. That is how legacies are built. Quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. Discipline your mind, and you reclaim your time. You reclaim your peace. You reclaim your direction. And most importantly, you reclaim your identity. You no longer live by reaction, but by intention. You no longer look outside for validation. You look within for alignment. You no longer drift. You direct. Every day you wake up, you are presented with a choice. Will you let the world shape your mind, or will you shape it yourself? Will you let your thoughts control your future, or will you control your thoughts? That choice made over and over again is what separates those who live with purpose from those who live by accident. Let the world be noisy. Let distractions scream. Let fear try its hardest to knock you off course. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the driver, and your mind, sharp, trained, disciplined, is your most powerful tool. So take a breath, stand tall, and begin again, one thought at a time, one action at a time, one moment of self-mastery at a time, because when you discipline your mind, you free your future. And there is no force more unstoppable than a person who has taken full responsibility for the world within them. Your life doesn't change when you get everything you want. It changes when you learn to master everything you already have. And that mastery begins here, with your next thought, your next choice, your next breath. Discipline your mind, and you transform your life, not someday, not maybe, but now.